Okay, so picture this. It's the early 1600s. Europe is just this chaotic mix of religious wars, a brewing scientific revolution, and a whole lot of uncertainty. Then, out of nowhere, these mysterious pamphlets start showing up, promising that a secret society has the power to change everything. Today, we're going to dive deep into those very texts, the Rosicrucian Manifestos.
And that was the question on everybody's lips. Who were these anonymous brothers of the Rosy Cross? Were they enlightened masters, dangerous heretics, or was this whole thing just some kind of elaborate prank? The only clues were inside the pamphlets themselves. So let's take a look at the incredible promises they made to a world that was absolutely desperate for answers. All right, so let's start with the documents that basically set Europe ablaze with curiosity and, yeah, a lot of controversy. What exactly did they say?
The first big bombshell to drop was the Fama Fraternitatis, which basically means the fame of the brotherhood. And this wasn't just some book. It was an announcement, a call to action for all the great minds of Europe, promising nothing less than a complete and total reboot of all arts and sciences.
I mean, the sheer scale of what they were claiming was just staggering. This wasn't about a few new ideas here and there. They were talking about a secret group that held the keys to everything. A cure for all diseases in an age of constant plague, the end of corrupt authorities during a time of vicious religious war, and access to literal divine wisdom. It was a mystery you just couldn't ignore.
So you gotta ask, right? Where did all this incredible knowledge even come from? Well, the Fama answers that by telling the legendary story of its founder.
The Manifestos introduce us to this figure known only as Brother C.R., who we later come to know as Christian Rosicrucian. His story starts way back in 1378. He's a young German guy from a noble but poor family, and his entire life becomes this epic search for hidden, secret wisdom.
His quest for enlightenment was this incredible journey all across the known world. He starts out in a cloister, but at just 16 he heads east. His journey takes him to the wise men of Damascus, through the ancient lands of Egypt, and finally to Fez in Morocco, where the story says he learned the deepest secrets of magic and the Kabbalah. So he comes back to Europe loaded with this profound wisdom that he thinks can reform the entire world. And how do you think he's received? The established scholars, they laugh at him. This quote from the text just says it all. They were too proud, too afraid their reputations would be lessened if they had to admit they'd been wrong for years.
So, rejected by the establishment, Brother C.R. doesn't just pack it in and go home. Nope, he just changes his strategy. If the world won't listen, he's going to create a group that will protect and spread his knowledge in secret.
He doesn't start with some big public movement. Instead, he plants a seed. He goes back to his old cloister, recruits 3 brothers, then 4 more, and forms this tiny inner circle of just 8 people. This small, super loyal group would become the bedrock of the entire fraternity of the Rosy Cross.
And this new fraternity had a very strict code, 6 key agreements. Their public job was simple: heal the sick and don't charge a penny for it. In their private lives, they were supposed to just blend in, wear normal clothes, and make sure the brotherhood could continue by finding a successor. But that last rule, that was the big one. The fraternity had to stay a complete secret for 100 years. Okay, now the story takes a huge leap forward in time. Brother C.R. lives to be 106 and eventually dies, but over the years, the exact location of his tomb is forgotten. The secret seems totally lost, until a chance discovery changes everything.
So more than a century goes by. The original members are long gone, and just with the passage of time, the location of their founder's final resting place is lost. To the new generation of brothers, it's basically just a legend. But then, one day, one of the brothers is doing some renovations on a building. He goes to pull a big nail out of a wall, and when he does, a chunk of plaster and a stone come with it, revealing a hidden door that nobody knew was there.
And this is where the story gets just goosebumps level incredible. Carved on this door is a Latin inscription that reads, "After 120 years, I will open." The discovery wasn't an accident. It was destiny. The time had finally come for the secrets to be revealed. So they open the door, and what they find inside is straight out of a fantasy novel. It's a 7-sided vault, lit by some kind of artificial sun in the ceiling. It's full of wonders: magical mirrors, strange music-making devices, and books of secret knowledge. And there, under a central altar, they find the body of Christian Rosicrucian himself, perfectly preserved, completely uncorrupted. This discovery, This was it. This was the signal. The 120 years of secrecy were officially over. The brothers took this as a divine command to finally go public, to announce their mission to the world, which is exactly what they did when they published the Fama.
So what was this big secret philosophy they were finally ready to share? It all centered on this idea of the microcosm, the belief that every single human being is a tiny model of the entire universe. They taught that if you want to understand God and the cosmos, you first have to understand yourself. Everything is connected in this beautiful harmony. They were basically drawing a line in the sand. Their goal was to replace the corrupt systems of the time with a new, enlightened set of ideals. They chose universal harmony over the tyranny of the Pope, true philosophy over the tricks of fake alchemists, and divine wisdom over the selfish ambitions of the very scholars who had laughed at their founder.
And they really wanted to hammer this point home. This was not about getting rich. Back then, a lot of people were obsessed with alchemy, with gold making. The Rosicrucians saw that as a total distraction. Like this quote says, making gold is just a paragon, a side issue. The real treasure was spiritual enlightenment.
And so, that's the powerful enigma we're left with. Was the story of Christian Rosicrucians and this incredible vault a literal, factual hidden history? Or was it all just a complex allegory, a symbolic story designed to spark a new age of spiritual and scientific awakening? For over 400 years, that question has never really been answered.